Hey going guys, welcome back to the channel. On this video, as you would have seen from the title, how to prep up something for primer. Now I've got two objects that I'll be prepping for primer in this video. We've got a motorbike tank I custom painted in a previous video. If you want to see that, there's a link in the description. I've also got a plastic mannequin. So there's going to be lots of Scotch-Briting around all those intricate areas. It is a female mannequin, so we're gonna have to keep this PG rated. With that said guys, let's jump outside, let's get these stuff prepped up and we'll get it inside the booth and start applying our primer. Alright guys, so here's the two parts that we'll be priming in this video. We've got a plastic mannequin which has a rather coarse texture over the whole piece. We've also got a tank which I had painted in a previous video. Let's talk about some of the materials that we'll be using to prep these up. We've got a piece of red Scotch-Brite which will be used on both these parts. The red Scotch-Brite will be only used on this plastic piece, and we want to be really thorough with our Scotch-Briting, making sure that we're scotching down in all the little grooves, all those tight little areas which could be rather difficult to get to. The red Scotch-Brite is going to be really suitable. Okay, in regarding the sandpaper, we've got 240 grit orbital paper. We've also got 180 grit or 150 grit. What the 150 grit will be used for is I'll be putting it on the Big Kid block. Big shout out to Central Spray Supplies for supplying me with these blocks. They are really great. So what I'll be actually doing with the block is actually blocking the paint edges out from the masking I've done to get the pinstripes in. I find using a block, it's more consistent and you can block all the line out and have it dead flat and smooth once the blocking has been finished. So that's pretty much the use for the 180 or 150. Regarding the 240, I'll be using a orbital sander and basically orbital sanding all the orange peel out of the clear coat. All the tight little areas like around the speedo and underneath the fuel filler cap, which I can't remove. All the tight little areas, that's where the red Scotch-Brite comes in, so it's much easier to get in all those areas. With that said guys, let's start sanding this stuff down and we'll get it all prepped up, ready for primer. Alright guys, time to mix up some primer. Everything's in the booth already. I've just stirred up this primer. It's ready to start pouring in. So this primer's mixed at 4:1, and I'll be adding roughly 15% of reducer with it. Alright guys, so what I've got here, I've got the DNA Paints Wax and Grease Remover in a solvent-resistant pressure bottle. I find that having it in the pressure bottle makes cleaning the surface a hell of a lot faster than just applying it with rags. In regarding the wipes that I'm using, these can be purchased at a lot of automotive body repair shops and does make cleaning the surface a lot faster. I find that using rags or cut up t-shirts moves the wax and grease remover around. It doesn't really dry it as well as these wipes do. So look, these wipes do have their pros and cons, but yeah, it definitely speeds the process up. In regarding the plastic mannequin, any raw plastics, I wouldn't advise using any solvent-based cleaners like Prepsol or wax and grease remover because they can have a negative effect on the plastic and sometimes cause the plastic to melt. So that's what we're going to do on our next stage, is use the DNA Paints plastic primer. I'll be applying 2 light coats over the whole mannequin. Well guys, there's the mannequin and the fuel tank all primed. Now these are going to sit for probably, I don't know, a good couple of weeks before I decide what I'm going to paint on either of them. Not exactly sure yet. I know I want to do a lot of fine line masking and candy and stuff like that on the tank. I've got a couple of ideas in my head. Don't know whether I'm going to run with it or not. Usually whenever I do something like that, I usually just wing it half the time. I lay some tape on it. If it looks good, I'll leave it. If I'm not exactly happy with it, I'll pull it off and I'll start again. That's the beauty of tape, I guess. If you're not happy, you can just pull it off. But yeah, apart from that, the mannequin, yeah, there's a few little scratches and chips and I don't know, there must be like all these microscopic, well not microscopic, but all these tiny little holes all over it. And I tried to apply the primer in a way that would kind of fill those up. It may need sanding down and re-priming if I want to make it perfect, and I kind of do. I wouldn't mind painting it something really fancy and then putting it in the showroom here at work. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I'll see if I can capture it on camera. It's probably really tricky to pick up on camera, but like there's a lot of scratches and you can kind of see it here. There's like chips and bits of plastic that are like half hanging off, and I probably could have sanded it down with a orbital sander and like 320 or something, or maybe 800 wet, but I mean, just wanted to get it in and get it out as quickly as possible. Like you can see all the plastic's really furry, like on the shoulder there. It doesn't look overly the best, but it's got like 4 coats of primer on it. So because I mixed this primer as a high build application, there's going to be lots of primer on it. So all those little imperfections, like you can see like there's little marks like that on the shoulder there and a few little bits on the collarbone there. They will all sand out nice and smooth once I do sand it. But yeah, like there's a couple of little marks on like the nipples and stuff like on the breast and that. But overall, yeah, it is pretty worse for wear. But at the end of the day, this was a ornament in a guy's garden, so it's not surprising it's got a lot of marks and that on it. Like look all over that. It's a bit of a mess, but I guess that's the beauty of priming it in a high build primer. A lot of that will all sand out and feather out anyway. So if worse comes to worse, I'll just prime it again. But yeah, that's a rundown, guys, on how to prep up a bare plastic and a painted fuel tank. So the same, basically the same principles and techniques I've used on these two parts you can do on your car as well. So very, very simple, 240 or 180 to sand out scratches. Make sure that you're feathering out paint so there's no big steps, and then apply 4 coats of primer once you've obviously gone over it with red Scotch-Brite. That pretty much sums up this video, guys. I haven't posted a video in, I think, 8 or 9 days. Sometimes I get a bit busy, and between doing videos for DNA paints, sometimes I find it tricky to do videos for me. I kind of don't want to spend too much time doing videos for me when I'm meant to be doing videos for DNA. So I don't want to rock the boat too much, but we're gonna make a start on the Lexus LS400 soon. I've kind of been in holiday mode. I spent over 30 weeks doing that XB coupe, and since that's been finished, I've kind of been relaxing at home, spending more time with the missus, doing my own things, doing what I enjoy, you know. And I kind of need to get into that Lexus. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, whether I just get it regoed, just paint it an ordinary color or not. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do. The thoughts were to paint it a candy. That would be pretty cool, but not exactly sure yet. There's too many colors out there, and it's never been a problem for me because I've always been the painter. So if someone wants their car painted in a certain color, I just do it. But because it's my car, it's like, well, I don't want to have to sand it down and repaint it again. So if I don't like the color, so yeah, we'll work it out. Expect to see a video of the Lexus in the next probably week, probably. But yeah. Anyway, if you've watched this video and you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video.